So in this Jeva Dharma class, chapter 9, and which deals with Nitya Dharma. What is Nitya Dharma? Nitya means permanent. Dharma means religion. That means a permanent religion for the Jiva. That means for our Atma is what is it, right? We really covered that in all the 8 chapters we are actually talking about. Now this one adds to the material science and civilization, especially the Durga worship is actually the main predominantly today actually discussed here. Now, according to the Shaktites, who are Shaktites? Shaktites are those who really worship Durga as the prime deity. So, according to this one, if you see that, their philosophy is called chickpea philosophy. What does it mean? Chickpea means, if you take a chickpea, right, it's all along with the skin, it really looks one. That they call as Brahman. In Hinduism also they really talk about Brahman, right? That's the effulgence of Lord Krishna. Okay, so if you take the Brahman, so according to their philosophy, you divide that into, when you take the skin out, you see 2 halves, Purusha and Prakriti. Okay, Purusha is basically male energy, and the Prakriti is actually the female energy. Okay, so now the question was actually were asked, okay, whether your Durga Devi is actually a male or female, but the answer that came from his friend was sometimes she is male and sometimes female. Okay, and also we saw that Durga is supposed to be creating Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Okay, so this is the way the philosophy is there. Now also, according to Shaktites, this is really a bizarre philosophy, very very bizarre. This is the most bizarre philosophy of any religion that you can think of. According to them, a fallen jiva, which is called Baddha jiva, okay, what is the fallen jiva? Fallen jiva is the one who is really, really living in this on the earth, material worlds, right? So it's under the care of Mother Durga. Durga is actually a mother, okay? So now she is the one who really takes care of everything. See, for example, the jiva really takes a body and then being born. And for example, a calf is really getting born. And as soon as after some time, it knows where to go for the milk. So who is giving that that kind of instincts and everything? The same way again, if you see that every jiva who has really taken any material form, it's the Durga Devi who is the one as mother provides and nurtures everything, so that he's actually nature. This is mother nature. Okay, then according to their philosophy, when the jiva eventually gets liberated, moksha, when liberated, what happens then? That jiva becomes Sadashiva. This is the philosophy they are saying. So the jiva who is Baddha is really fallen down. See, look at the cats and dogs, and on the streets we have dogs, running here and there. There are jivas, right, taken a body. But when they liberate, according to them, everybody actually becomes Sadashiva. All there are. So that's why they say Shivoham, I am Shiva. This is actually coming from there only. It's so many things that the even Hindus don't know about so many philosophies. Now there, when the jiva, right, for the jiva, Mother Durga was actually as a mother, and now she becomes a wife of the jiva. Because Sadashiva, the wife of Sadashiva is Durga. This is what actually he really, this is a laughing matter in fact. So now they were actually talking about the science and civilization. So, so basically it really, the way, from Advaita Dasa, who is actually none other than, who is that? This is a Lagiri Mahashaya, right? He got the new name, spiritual name. So according to him, this is nothing but a hypocrisy and actually cause of restlessness, actually. So, but Digambara said, advancement in science and culture is making earth into heaven. But is that what we are seeing? Look at it, I am just putting some of the stuff there. Take for example, the coronavirus going on now, or some other virus coming in some other ages, and one after another problems, World War 1, 2, 3, this problem, that problem, so many. And depression, last time I was actually telling, remember somebody was actually, multi-millionaire, right, 600 millions or something right now. He got so depressed, he really, jumped up to the window from a tall storage building and then killed himself. So this depression is really ever increasing in fact. Even though our modern science is really, the standard of living, SOL is really going high. They are actually saying that it is really up and up. But what happens is depressions and all kinds of problems are actually ever increasing. Okay, so this is a situation what we are seeing, right? And earthquakes and tsunamis and this and one after another. So these are all the whatever the civilization we are trying to patch up. We are trying to live comfortably. That's all we are trying to say. But the thing is, the statement that Digambara said, advancement in science and culture is making earth into heaven, is completely wrong. Because that's why if you see the Bhagavad Gita, also Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that this world is a dukkhalaya. This is full of miseries only. Only my abode, which is a spiritual dimension, that is the only one which is ever blissful, ever happiness. There is no sorrow, no trace of any sorrow. For example, Vaikunta. What is the meaning of Vaikunta? Vaikunta means where there is no anxiety. Everybody is always happy, and that is available only in the spiritual world. In the material world, it's called dukkhalaya. Dukkha alaya means a place which is full of dukkha, means sufferings, which we see that, right? Birth, death, old age, and death, and then the old age diseases, so many things we really see that. We cannot escape. So we try to fix ourselves. But as our body ages, what will you do? You cannot do that. You try to fix, and after some time that's also not going to work. So now, even for example, in the name of science, so many discoveries and things like that, they're all actually happening. But what is the reality?
Let's move on to our next big story. The former head of the British intelligence agency MI6 has said that he believes that the novel coronavirus, which has claimed more than 388,000 lives across the globe, actually started in a lab as an accident.
Look at here. This is what science is going on. We already know the pollution and the plastic, invention of the plastic. Even they have really made so much of big monster, which even nobody can actually do anything with the monster. It is really we cannot destroy the plastics. They are trying so many things. What is going on? Then the Satyites, they are really deep into eating meat, fish, and drink wine and enjoy the world. Okay, this is their mentality. All right, because we see for example, what you are seeing here is the Kali worship, Durga worship. Meat and wine is their main thing there. And in fact, the very, very famous, supposed to be the so Swamiji's big status here, supposed to a god, Swami Vivekananda, and also Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. They are all Durga worshippers, and they were all giving. Even if you go to Calcutta Kali temple every day, they were really killing so many goats. They will be just queued up and they will be chopped off, and the blood will be really running. So this is actually happening even now. And these are the Swami Vivekananda. They belong to that cult. This is the problem. Right? Now they slaughter the animals, many animals in the name of the sacrifice. But the fact is what? If they make grave sins for which they have to suffer in the hells. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so furious against Kali worship that some Kali worshipper dumped meat in front of the associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he got leprosy or something very serious immediately. So many things, calamities happen. How can he really do this kind of things to a lordship? So this worship, in fact, unfortunately, including South India, this is really going really crazy. In fact, very South India, where we have Vivekananda Rock Memorial and everything, actually his teachings are really completely bogus. We can see that. Eating meat, drinking wine, and doing all kinds of sins. This is what the thing is. Look at it. For example, just I really happened to see one posting that really came in our one WhatsApp group. It says that do whatever your heart thinks. It's shame on Vivekananda for misleading the world. In fact, because this is what the freedom means, right? Today, in fact, is the July 4th. Is a celebration of freedom for USA. But the problem is this freedom in the material world actually is actually one thing. But the spiritual world, no. Because what really happened to us, we were servants of the Lord. That is our Nitya Dharma. That is our real position. But we wanted to enjoy ourselves separately, independent from the Lord. That is why we fell down and we are now suffering in this material world, we taking birth after birth and birth after birth. So it is because of the freedom. We asked for the freedom. In fact, what happened was, Satan was really said to be, somebody used to say that, like, Satan was so happy when Jiva asked for freedom and the Lord said, okay, you can have freedom. Because that was how Satan can really have control. This is actually from the Bible version what I'm talking about. I just heard about that. That's it. So, this kind of nonsense is going on. So, here he says, do whatever your heart thinks. This is not good at all. Because if you think, if you say, all right, I can do whatever my heart does, my heart tells I have to kill you. It's the right thing. My heart says, I have to kill you because I don't like you. This is animals. Right? Isn't it? You see, can I do that? So the fact is, we should not listen to your heart. You should listen to the Shastra, the Dharma Shastra, which the Lord has given to us. This is what we should do. No, we should never even recognize that Swami Vivekananda as a saint at all. He is a sinner. This is how Vaishnavas really position all these actually. Okay? So the freedom is bad. Okay? So, Bhakti Yoga, what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is because we made a mistake of asking the Lord to get freedom for us so that we can enjoy the material world is a fundamentally wrong thing to really start with. Because of that, we are really now here. So, what is the Bhakti Yoga? You surrender the freedom back to Him. Oh Lord, I am a servant to you forever. I am giving and signing right here. That is it. That is what Bhakti Yoga is about. Bhakti Yoga is nothing but you surrender I don't want, there is nothing like my one wish. I don't have any freedom. What? Right? So that is why, if you see that again and again, the whole Vaishnavism and the Bhakti Yoga is attained to only what? To satisfy the Lord. By that you are automatically becoming happy, right? Okay? So you have to surrender the freedom. Not like this kind of Vivekananda and all the nonsense people and really misleading the world. We should not. There are Durga worshippers. That's what they say. Vaishnavas, they say clearly because of him and this kind of the so-called saintly persons. So many calamities are actually happening. In that thing, so many people are killing innocent animals, slaughtering animals, and eating meat and drinking wine. These are all sinful things. Now, Lahiri Mahashaya got a name as Advaita Dasa. Why? Because he was born in the same village where Advaita Acharya was really born there. That is what it is. Okay, so he gave the name. He is Param Guru, Guru's Guru. So what was the original name of Advaita Dasa was actually Kalidasa only. Okay, so then he became a saint, and then finally now he is really got a new name also. Now there, if you see that, and in the book that we really read that, the Advaita Dasa wanted the Digambara to really get away and lost. Okay, because he had so many the nonsense philosophy, and he said, oh, remember, we were playing the, it's called Palanguli. Palanguli, we used to play. So when we are actually playing, remember, you told me that we should not touch that tamarind tree, which you are seeing right now on the screen. It's the same tree. Okay. And in fact, when I was there in Ambika Kalna, okay, and this is near the Gauridasa Mandir actually. Again, Gauridasa Mandir, that is another big story. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and also Lord Nityananda Prabhu, they really came to see Gauridasa, okay, and happened to us, then, he really wanted the Lord to really stay with them forever. And they immediately manifested their own deities. And then they said, okay, all right, because we have to go and our deities will be actually staying there. What you really see on the picture as two deities, they are exactly the same original deities that were actually manifested by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And when we were there, we saw. And this deity used to talk. and walk. And so this was how it works. Okay, there's a nice story behind also. It's a long. Probably I will tell that later. Now again, when we were there, this same tree, I touched that too. Now I remember. I took, somebody took a photo also, but I may be having the photo somewhere. And I didn't know the story, because remember there is a thing round there, and there is a temple. This temple is Vishnu temple or maybe Sadashiva temple. I don't know, something. So, I think it's actually some Vishnu temple only. Okay, very near. So this is the place where they actually sat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu used to sit. Same tamarind tree. Still it's living. Okay, that's what he is really talking about there. Now also, they were actually talking about fixing this world is like fixing an on the way in. Okay, look at here now. We have a long journey. There is a destination. What is that destination? That destination is to get rid of our material livings, the lives that we are going through this suffering, birth after birth after birth. We are born in one body, then after dying, getting another body, and then keep on, this is going on. And what happened? That destination is, what is the destination? We have to get out of that, right? To reach the abode of the Krishna is the topmost destination, and for some of them, it is actually getting moksha. Moksha means liberated, and then, be free, be in the spiritual world somewhere, Vaikunta, Brahma Jyoti, or wherever you really want to go. But that is our destination, is that abode of Krishna. But on the way, we are born, and this earth, for example, we happen to be born in this life. Okay, because we don't know, because the thing is, we don't have the intelligence or the memory to know where we were before, or where it is, where we will be actually next. We don't know. See, that is the situation we are in. So, our stay on the earth is like a stay in an inn on our journey. And we are trying to fix the things here. Only foolish people, suppose, they are actually going on a journey, and they are actually staying in an inn. Oh, this inn is really dirty. I have to repaint. I have to have a different painting for this one. Or I need some, new cupboard or something. New, this thing, sofa, new bed, and this and that. Suppose somebody is really trying to fix an inn where you happen to be really staying only for a few days or something, very short time. It is temporary. Isn't it that he is a foolish man? That is exactly what we are trying to do. When we are really in the name of culture, in the name of standard of living, we are trying to fix the thing here, but you will never be able to fix. Who in the world really fixed anything? We are only in the name of fixing, we are only creating problems after problem. This is what it is. Right? So we try to make our life really comfortable. Foolishly think that this is our home. This is the place permanently that is there. We are forgetting our real destination. It is also like a foolish, suppose, since we are here like a prisoner. Okay? So the thing is, Durga Devi is also called a jailer. Who is the one who really wants these all the material worlds. Devi Dham. Devi Dham is actually material worlds. So we happen to be here, and that is why she is taking care of us. And they are calling that as a mother. No, you should get away from her. Our worship should not be to really please Durga Devi. Who in the world will say, oh, okay, you are the jailer for me. I want to be there in the jail forever. Please take care of me. Which prisoner will really tell that? That is why Durga worship is completely unnatural for a Vaishnava. Okay, so a prisoner, if he is really trying to improve the cell, that is nonsense. This is exactly we are trying to do, in fact. Now, Krishna says, worship me. Saying that again and again. See, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, Mam Sharanam. See, throw every religion out. And only we take me. I don't belong to any religion. I belong to only the Nitya Dharma. Okay, that is the one. People think that I am a Hindu god. No, nothing like that. Sarva Dharman Parityaja, throw everything out and surrender only to me. Only to me. And he says, worship me. And where are the people really running away? They are running away to the other side to worship Durga, Shiva. And even people really, in our this thing, they are saying even Shiva and Vishnu same, they are, so many things are going on there too. So Krishna says, worship me, but all run to Durga Devi. Why? This is a nonsense. Ignorance. And they are also saying that, doesn't matter where you worship, whom you worship. Everything is a sambar. This is a South Indian sambar. So what this one says is, Andavattu palam desham tat bhavat yalpa medasham devan deva yajo yanti mat bhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship these kind of gods, demigods, devadas, and their fruits are limited and temporary. What can Durga Devi give? She can give his, her loka maximum. There's the Durga loka, okay, Sati loka, that you can go and enjoy there. But it is not permanent forever. No, it's like heaven. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods. Devan deva yajo yanti. For those who are worshipping that deva, they will go their own place. But my devotees, Mad Bhakta yanti mamapi. Mad Bhakta, my bhaktas, yanti, where will they go? Mom, they will come to me. You see, ultimate reach me, my supreme abode. Okay, so this is the situation. Everybody is completely called. See, look at your Kali, for example. She is such a bloodthirsty. This worship should not have been there. Now knowledge, talking about knowledge, that is called jnana. Jnana means knowledge. Laukika and Paramarthika. I really covered in yesterday Harikatha also. I just touched it because it was really involving that one. What is Laukika Jnana? Laukika Jnana is material knowledge. This has nothing to do with the non-Vaishnavas actually. But if there is a material improvement there, they will try to use it only for the sake of devotion. That is it. We are using computers, we are using this and that. But that is not primary, because that is something, whatever that is available there, we can use it for the service of the Lord. But non-Vaishnavas are the one who will really go deep into that, and they really get entangled in this material knowledge. Okay, but Vaishnavas will be detached. They can use it, whatever that is there available given, they will use it, but they won't really go firm on it. Now the other one is the Paramarthika Jnana. What is Paramarthika Jnana mean? Parama Arthika. Arthika means which really has a meaningful. Parama means Uttamam. That means the topmost. Topmost meaningful thing is what? That is to reach the spiritual world. To be with Krishna. That jnana or the knowledge is called Paramarthika Jnana. It is a spiritual knowledge. Also called Suddha Jnana. Suddha Jnana. And there is also another name for Laukika Jnana, which you already saw that one. That is Vishaya Jnana. Vishaya Jnana means, about materials. Okay. So Vishaya Jnana or Laukika Jnana, both are same. Okay. Same way, Paramarthika Jnana is a by Suddha Jnana, and that is the Vaishnavas only, they have to do with only this knowledge. Okay. And then Paramarthika can only come from Krishna. Okay, this is another one. Because remember yesterday also I was actually covering in the Harikatha, because these things need to come only from the Lord. Because our mind has no power to really grasp anything from the spiritual world. Okay, so he's saying Sri Bhagavan Vavacha Jnanam Paramagukhyam me yet Vijnana Samanvitam Sara Kasyam Tat Angamcha Grahana Garitam Maya. So there are what? There are 4 kinds of jnanas there, even though there is only one, right? See, one jnana, but you have 4 divisions. One is jnana. Jnana means theoretical knowledge, and vijnana means practical knowledge, realization, and ragasya means secret knowledge. Ragasya, secret knowledge. Tadanga means even super secret, even higher spiritual knowledge. So the conclusion here is, oh Brahma, knowledge of me is non-dual and yet has 4 distinct divisions, blah blah. What jnana, vijnana, ragasya and satsanga. A jiva can never understand this by his own intelligence. Doesn't matter whether he has the brain of Newton Isaac Newton or Einstein, doesn't matter. They have no way of getting to this one. Because there are still material people. They are material. Right? And we have no way of actually understanding something which is not in our dimension. Okay? So, but you can understand it by my mercy. In Gita also he says that. If my bhakta needs any knowledge, I will give it to him. Okay? So now, look at here how, when one gets that kind of knowledge and serving, the Lord all the time, becoming Uttama Bhakta. Uttama Bhakta means topmost, the devotee. They will adopt simple living. Look at here now. This is what the whole thing that we are reading again and again. It is not like dressing to the best and then behaving like the what that modern way or something or culture. No, that is not. That is fake. Your inside is actually what? Simple living and high thinking, high devotion automatically comes there. So how? Why? Because their sole purpose is Anyabhi lasita sunyam jnana karmadi anabhritam anukulyena krishnanu silanam bhakti uttama. Their life is only to satisfy Krishna. That is the uttama bhakti. Okay? Especially the Rahasya and the Tadanga, very, very secret, that Krishna gives mostly only to the Uttama Bhaktas. Their behavior is out of this world. They live very simple with the highest devotion. Once, what you are actually seeing here is actually Prema Vamsida Das Babaji. So he had a very small cut like this, and there was Chaitanya deity and Nitai Gauranga, then also Krishna, Radharani. So he has some deities there. And once what happened, because there is no door in for his hut. That's it. He just leaves whenever he wants to go anywhere, and then to really beg any alms or something, then he really gives that to the Lord, and then he really consume. So when he goes out, one day what he found was, even those small vessels with no significant value at all, some robbers actually stole that. And Babaji got, what? And he was talking to the deity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nitai. You two are here, you are the owners of this house, and when the robber came and then he really took all these things, where were you? You could not protect yourself? This is nonsense. He got angry on the deity, and then he was also talking. Oh Chaitanya, oh Nitai, I am really begging alms every day and then giving to you whatever I can. But the thing is, when I get really very old and when I cannot walk, how can I really feed you? Then the deity talked back. This is the thing. Uttamadhikari will be able to talk to the deity face to face. And the deity talks back. Oh Baba, I will go and then beg for you. You can sit down. I will go and then beg for you. And immediately he really grabbed a stick in his hand and said, you rascal, you are going to beg for me? No. Until I die, I am the only one who is really going to serve you. I don't want you to serve me. Look at here how the thing is. These are all Uttamadhikaris. See? And another time, once he didn't have any money, and all of a sudden he thought, I am going to really make some small sabji or something for my deities. Alright? So he really sees that there is nothing, no, there was a 5 paisa. Those days 5 paisa. Even now 5 paisa has no value at all anyway. 5 paisa, he grabs it and then goes to the market, and he asks for, I want to really buy some tomato. Please give me some tomato. He said, 5 paisa? Who will give tomato? Go away. If you want, I really put some rotten tomatoes out there. I threw them out. You really take from there. For 5 paisa, I cannot give anything. Go. So Babaji thought, oh my God, I have to give something to my Lord. He hasn't, I couldn't really give anything at all, So then he really went and then saw the tomatoes, remember these market wallas, So these merchants, when they really, when the fruits become really spoiled, they will throw it out. So he went there and then looked for some of them, whatever that is actually probably little better. So he brought that one, and then, then he really cooked, cut the thing and cooked some small sabji, and there is no plate to really offer anyway. So what did he do? Because he was really so in devotion. So he put his own hand, and then he took the sabji, and then he was feeding to the Lord. And they were eating. This is the way. Simplicity. Simple living automatically give you high devotion. A civilized life will never make you a devotee. I will tell you, guaranteed. You may be actually, having, so many millions or so many houses, so many this one. That means you are really blocked. Your devotion is going to be blocked because of very same thing. Unless you have complete detachment to that. And by simple living, God comes closer to you. So what is the thing they follow? Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanu silanam bhakti uttama. What does it mean? Forget about karma, forget about social work, forget about all the jnana, throw everything out. I want to do only those things that will make my Lord Krishna, happy. And I don't care whether I go to hell or not. I don't care. I want my Lord to be happy all the time. Anukuliyena Krishnanu. Whatever that by doing that the Lord is going to be happy, I will do only that one. Anukuliyena Krishnanu Silanam. That is Bhakti Uttama.